because of what we now call childhood diseases, thanks to vaccines. And now we have hundreds of thousands of people who are afraid of vaccines, who have no idea the blessing they have here. 1 in 5 of us would not be here if it weren't for it.
Thank you, John. Welcome to this gathering of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Bowling Green, both here in person and joining us online, either today or through the amazing science of the internet at some other time. My name is Janeen Grohsmeyer. I'm one of the members here at this congregation. I would ask that you please set the other magic, wonderful science invention of your cell phone to silent, if you would, please. Thank you. We are a welcoming congregation, so whoever you are, however you identify, wherever you come from, and whoever you love, please know that you are welcome here. Our Sunday services are different each week. This week is one of our special seasonal recognition days. I think we call it festival, but that seems to imply a happy time, and as you might have gathered from the music, today is more of a solemn kind of festival. It's our Remembrance Festival held at the turning of, well, autumn. And we remember those who have passed on. So it says here, today our speaker is you. You'll be invited to come and share your memories. Though we each walk our own path here in this place, and now at this time, we will be journeying together as one community. One of the symbols of our community and Unitarian Universalist communities around the world is the flaming chalice. It was started in World War II. Today, our chalice will be lit by Tim Diller. So if you'd like to come up. And he has a short reading to give with us first. No.
Good morning. In this time of grief. In our time of grief, we light a flame of sharing, the flame of ongoing life. In this time, we search for understanding and serenity in the face of loss. We light this sign of our quest for truth, meaning, and community.
We'll be tuning after the chalice is lit.
Our first reading today is Harbingers of Frost by Robert T. Weston. Autumn, we know, is life en route to death. The asters are but a harbinger of frost, the trees flaunting their colors at the sky, and other times will follow, where the leaves have fallen, and so shall we. Yet other lives will come, so we may know, accept, embrace the mystery of life we hold a while, not mourn that it outgrows each separate self, but still rejoice that we may have our day. Lift high our colors to the sky, and give in our time fresh glory to the earth.
Thank you, Tim. We will now sing, so please rise in body or spirit, whatever is most comfortable. Hymn 350, The Ceaseless Flow of Endless Time. It's in the gray hymnal. That song references the new year. In some traditions, this is the end of the old year and the beginning of the new. The new year moves around a lot depending on what culture you're from. And certainly things feel like they're coming to an end outside. We will now take a few moments for silent meditation, thoughts, and prayers. The singing bowl, the sound of the singing bowl will lead us into silence, and then we'll sing Spirit of Life. So as I mentioned, today is our UU Festival of Remembrance. I've been to 3 funerals this month, and I missed a celebration of life that happened yesterday in Maryland. So they're coming more frequently in my life as I get older myself. And I was struck a little bit by the different understandings people have of what comes after we die. One of the ladies who passed was a Baptist, and there was talk of heaven and hell and making sure you're saved so that you can be with her in heaven and you'll see her soon. Another lady was a Seventh-day Adventist, and their understanding is that everyone, once you die, you fall asleep, and we're all asleep until the second coming of Jesus the Christ, at which time everybody wakes up together. As Unitarian Universalists, of course, we have different understandings of what happens after death, just as we have different understandings of the divine. Whether we believe in reincarnation, or it's over, or heaven, or hell, or many of the other ways that we can understand it or try to understand it. We all grieve. We all remember, and sometimes the memories bring tears. As the time passes, perhaps they bring laughter and smiles. But for all of us, we hope that the memories of our loved ones who have passed are a blessing to us. I'm going to light the candle there. Candles are often symbols we carry with us. And then I'm going to invite you to come forward. You can take a rock from the basket, pick the one that speaks to you. You can take two. And if you would place it on the little table around the candle, and we'll gather the stones together there. If you want to take a stone with you and keep it with you as a memory and place it on an altar of your own or a special place in your house, then you can do that. And we also, outside the building, have a meditation garden, and they can be placed there as well. And after the service, we'll take the stones from here and place them on the bench out there. Matt, is there an extra microphone that I should have turned on? Okay. Thanks. Okay. I'd like to place this stone for Pat Fulcher, who I was talking with my son on the way here today, and he told me that Mr. Fulcher had passed away some 6-8 months ago, and it was the first I'd heard of it. Mr. Fulcher was a friend of ours back in Maryland, and he was a blacksmith, a farrier, and he was the one who taught my son how to do blacksmithing and set him on a path to his current career of building things and breaking them and testing them as a materials engineer. So this is for Pat Fulcher.
You said Pat, and that reminded me, my granddaughter, I was at her house last week, and she loved Miss Pat that came to church here. Loved her so much. And is her last name Graham, I believe? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so she had found a picture of her, and we talked about her for hours. She just really missed her, and she was trying to remember where she went when she left the church, and I explained that she went to a nursing facility, and anyway, this is in memory of Miss Pat for Maya and me. I could sing a song if you want.
This is in memory of my younger brother, Craig, and I miss him. We were in so many ways quite different, but he was one of my forever people. You know, it's somebody that was always there in my life, and now he's not, except as a memory. He would have wanted a large rock, because he was a large guy.
Forrest, if you want to, Forrest, you can leave the picture up if you want.
Oh, okay.
This is in memory of Jim Skaggs, who was a member of this church for a long time, and he died in February. It was not easy. Anyway, but he finally, I was with him when he died. He finally just drew his last breath. It was, just, anyway, so he's no longer with us. So there it is. Why don't you talk about Dennis?
Thank you very much. This was our good friend Dennis Kane, and I had mentioned to the congregation several weeks ago that he had fallen off a ladder and died the next day. His husband, of course, was devastated. His husband, Wayne, and Dennis, as well as Dennis, they were our very, very good friends, and we traveled everywhere with them, and we were so looking forward to going so many places. And lots of stories that I can't tell here. But let me tell you, a fun fella. We'll miss him. Yeah. And he talked like he was from Grayson County, too.
Grayson County, Litchfield.
Do you want to? Thank you. Do you want to pick a stone for him? Come on up.
I'm going to pick 2 stones. This is for my mother and father, Don Rowe and Alice Rowe. And it's funny because the reason I thought of them recently is because of my daughter who is living and has her life ahead of her. And I recently posted on Facebook, some of you may have seen it, that she presented a paper at UK this weekend. And I was just like so proud of her and thought, gee, I wish Mom and Dad could see this. And so it's kind of funny how those people that are living also made me think of the people who have passed as well and how that legacy moves forward.
This is my first sister-in-law, Gail O'Neill, died about 2 weeks ago. She had lung cancer, only 70. At my age, it's only 70. But she was a good sister-in-law, and I'll miss her.
That happens in life, it's actually delivery.
This is for my grandmother. Her name was Gertrude Hufka, and she came to America in 1927 with her 3 children and her husband, and to New York. They were sponsored, went to Washington, and lost her husband in 1929, October of that year. So my grandmother was with 3 children in the middle of the Depression, speaking only German, and a lot of discrimination. But what she taught me, and it seems it's gone to, well, first to my mother, to me, and now to my daughter, is to be strong, resilient, and just keep going with life. And I praise her for passing that legacy on to us. I need a pretty one. She worked at the Ahwahnee Hotel as a baker in Yosemite.
Hello, this is from our live stream chat. This is from Damien Knight's family. They'd like to have a stone place for Jeannie. It was their mother-in-law. She was a cornerstone of their family and was a blessing to all who knew her. She was the light of so many. Thank you.
I'll take it just for a second.
This is for Betty and Jean Arnold, always loved.
This is for my dad, but also for one of his favorite musicians, Jerry Lee Lewis, who passed away. And my dad just loved that music and would turn it up really, really loud, especially if we were sleeping in, and would wake everybody up.
I'm going to put this one in for my dad. My dad died a few years ago. We didn't have the end of our lives. We didn't get along very well, and it was hard to talk to him and resolve anything because dementia had started a good 15 years before he died, and those chances slipped away. And I found myself I think, angry about things that had happened, but thank God for time and so forth, because all that seemed, that angst and everything, I think when he died, it sort of went out. I noticed that it went out, and I think now I can appreciate the things that he went through and that he did. And I really miss him.
Hello, another person from our live stream would like to place a stone for Richard Graham, who passed away yesterday. He worked with Janera Conway, forgive me if I got that name wrong, at the health department. He was good, kind, and a neat person. Let's see if I can't find a neat stone for him. There we go.
I'm going to place a stone for all of those who have gone before us. I spent the week with my family, with my brother, my father and my mother. My dad is 83 and he's still got it together. My mother has dementia also, so her memories aren't as viable as they once were. But we talk about the people that have passed in our lives, our friends and our family, and those stories are invaluable to hold within ourselves and to continue to share with others.
I'm going to place a stone in memory of my father, who passed in April of this year. He was a very good friend of mine. Loved him dearly. He loved his family and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. And toward the end, he couldn't remember their names, but they never had any idea he couldn't remember their names, because he would just hug them and just let them know how happy he was to see them. So I'm happy to place a stone for my dad. And it is odd how little things happen, just like Delaire was saying, that just trigger that. Wish I could tell Dad. He would think that was so neat or so funny, or it's a joyous time, really, to me, when they do pass, when they have been suffering. You know, I have never really felt sad that he left, and he left like he did. It was really a beautiful ending of life, and I hope my ending will be just like that.
So I'll continue the theme. I'm going to place one for my dad. I lost him last year. Like a lot of people, we didn't have the best relationship, wasn't around a lot, but we had started to talk kind of that last year. But I was unable to go to his funeral. I got as sick as I've ever been in my life, like the day before. And I actually was telling my wife, I'm going to get on the plane. They're like, they're not going to let you on that plane. You know, I was bad. So that he's just been on my mind. It's been a little over a year. Some things we put off to move here. Part of that was that grieving process. And he, I found just interestingly that I grieve more what didn't happen, right? The things that could have been if our relationship was better and things that happened. And the blessing there, I think it's really helped me to focus in on my relationships with other people and my son. So in that way, it's been interesting. I want to place one more for Holly Evenson. She died about this time last year. Very suddenly, my absolute best friend from high school. And it was one of those, I had texted her one day, didn't hear from her for a week, and then I was informed that she had passed. So just that reminder of the fragility, for me at least. So. Dad would want something like that.
I'd like to place a stone for my father, who passed a year ago, September 2021, William George Kuhn, Jr. He was 93. His dad, Wilhelm George Kuhn, was born in this country, though his siblings were all born in Germany. So Valerie and I just returned from a nice vacation over there across the pond, and it was my first opportunity to step foot in the fatherland. My mother followed my dad about a month later in October. She was 90. Priscilla Josephine Catherine Svejik, Americanized to Swager Kuhn. Also lost my first mother-in-law this spring, Beverly Wilbur. I stayed close to her and her family for 45 years. She was 90. All had great lives and loving families.
Hello. We have another one from our live stream. It's Janari Conway again. She'd like to place a stone for their father-in-law who passed away this year. Jana Ray. Very sorry. And this next one's a personal one for me. I had a friend who was diagnosed with cancer at age, I believe 21. His name was Coulter. This gentleman, every time I think of any memories of him, I laugh because he was a constant joker, a constant prankster. And even as cancer was slowly taking over his body, having, a tube that's always outside of his body, the whole 9 yards, he was laughing, making jokes, never really once, caused problems because he was in pain. He only wanted to make others laugh. So here's a funny stone for you.
This is for Pete Mahurin, who was my financial advisor and then became a very good friend. We were about the same age, and he said, "John, let's live the last quarter." And he did. He went into work until just a day or two before he died, which is what he loved to do.
I had no idea that this was the theme of the program today. I haven't been drinking anything alcoholic, but I'm a little wobbly for some reason. When it became clear what the topic was, there's really only one person I could think of whose death was agonizing. My second wife, Pamela. When I got the call to join the philosophy and religion department at Western, we were living in southeast Kansas, I believe, where I was teaching at Western at Pittsburgh State University. And Pamela and I came to Bowling Green shortly before our son Joel was born. And I believe she was a member of the church, of the fellowship, at that time. So this was her congregation, briefly. She came down with cancer about 3 years after we arrived in Bowling Green. And it was downhill from there as far as her well-being went. And she So she was briefly, I'm fairly sure, a member of this congregation when it was a fellowship and had not become a church. Together we had a son who was born shortly after we arrived here in Bowling Green. And so he was a regular at church functions during those years. He is now living in Florida, and I can't tell you a lot about his current situation. Anyway, this is for Pamela, whose mother was a Holocaust survivor, and whom I got to know. In any case, the memory of Pamela. I'm a little wobbly. Yeah, I can get down. And I'll give you the
Thank you.
microphone.
Anyone else? Sharon?
This is remembrance of my former husband, Bob Crawford, and he died a little over a year ago. We had bad times, we had good times, and we had 2 wonderful sons, and for that I'm very grateful. Anyone else? Annie?
Thank you. I know you all have heard me talk about losing a close friend of mine August 20th, and then my brother-in-law died September 1st. And golly, I can't believe how late it is. If I get up early, I get really sidetracked, and this whole month has been incredibly stressful for me for lots of reasons. But anyway, I'm just glad to be here. And I've lost several close friends over the years, and of course my parents have been gone for a long time. And but I don't know if I even told you all, I had a really nice memorial for my friend who passed away at my house earlier this month. And I guess that's it.
Place a stone for anybody? Is there anyone else who would like to share? Thank you. I placed this stone for our furred animal people in our family, specifically Shadowfax, mighty hunter, excellent napper, and kitty cat extraordinaire. And we put him down this summer. He was 18. It was my daughter's cat. And on a more general note, for all whose names have not been spoken, yet we hold them in our hearts. May their memories be a blessing. Next slide, please, Matt. If we could share in this reading, and if the passage on the screen speaks to you, please feel free to read it. It's number 720 if you like to look in your gray hymnal and read there. Okay? In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we remember them. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember them. In the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring. In the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer. We remember them. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we have joys we yearn to share, we remember them. They live, they too shall live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them. We will now sing hymn number 1002. It's in the Teal hymnal, Comfort Me. We're doing verses 1, 3, and 5. Tim's going to share a reading with us.
More Than One Life by Lee Hubert. Lighting a candle is something like the beginning of life. It's true then, perhaps, extinguishing a candle is like ending of life. But death may not be the end of us. We live on in the memories of friends and loved ones. The influence we possessed in life works on, moving persons and causes forward. Let us not forget that most candles have more than one life, and so perhaps may we.
This congregation and the work we do is supported by the voluntary generosity of all who contribute. The offering is a sacrament of the Free Church. We're passing the plates. You can also donate online and by mailing straight to the church office. Forrest has some music to share with us. wisely in the service of our congregation and our community. We would also like to take a moment to thank everybody who made this happen today. Our wonderful musician, Forrest Halford. Our man behind the curtain, Matt. Yay, Matt, thank you. Who makes it and helps us share. Thank you. Our greeters and also offering collectors and people who did snacks, people who make the church what it is, everybody who comes today. You made this sermon happen today. So thank you for being a part of it. That's me, yes, thank you. Thanks. A little weird. As part of our responsible search for truth and meaning, we encourage thoughtful discourse. After the service is over, we'll be gathering in the fellowship hall for refreshments and conversation. It can either be something inspired by today's service or in the proud tradition of Unitarian Universalists everywhere, whatever you want to talk about. I didn't have any community news handed in, but we have an announcement.
Thanksgiving, November 24th, from 2 to 4. Everyone is invited. I'd like to know when, if you can be there. We're starting a list, and turkey will be provided. $5 donation would be accepted, but it is certainly optional. I was looking over our past information about Thanksgiving, and we've had it at 3, we've had it at 4. This time we're having it at 2. So a little earlier, so it won't be so hungry. But please see me after the service and let me know yes or no. I need really to know both. So
Okay.
I don't recontact.
Thank you. And that information will be coming out in the email announcements. So you'll be hearing about it again, I'm sure. If you have questions about Unitarian Universalism or about joining this congregation, please speak to someone in our membership team. Our board president, John Downing, is available at president@uubgky.org. And of course, you can find us on Facebook and our website and bulletin boards and YouTube. So please seek us out. Our church doors may not always be open, but our congregation, our community is certainly always here. We have one final reading to wrap up today's message, again by Tim.
The title of today's reading is Inspired by Our Ancestors. And I'd like each of you to think of someone in particular in your past, maybe a parent or a grandparent or an aunt or uncle, somebody specific. Think about them as I read this. For those who came before us, we offer gratitude and thanks. May their memories be a blessing. May we feel surrounded by their love. And as we go forth from this time and place, let us be inspired by their courage, their wisdom, and their dreams. Let us honor them by doing the work of living boldly, loving mightily, and creating heaven on earth. Amen and blessed be.
We're now going to bid farewell to those who have joined us online, and we hope you found the service meaningful and that you will join us again sometime. Be well, go in peace, and may your memories be a blessing.